We start with what are the digital technologies today in your enterprise? We are like all of us working in companies that have a certain technology landscape. And I categorize them here in 5 categories. One is our enterprise, our ERP systems, our foundational mega platforms. Being it the ERPs, today probably the SAP is the only like really is the winner of the ERP space. We have CRM, we have SCMs, we have people management software, Workday, for example, right? So I think that's in the first category, you will have your mega platforms that you kind of need to keep the wheels on the bus. It's just mandatory, like without, like you cannot manage ERP in a different way. Then the second category that I offer as a category, of course, you can have different views, but the second category I say is data. All your databases, data lakes, data modeling, data warehouses, big data software, data science software, business intelligence, your reports, all your FP&A data models and whatever FP&A reports, they are here. So they are built on top of the enterprise ERP systems. They get the data from there, we somehow model them, present results. The next category is like general infrastructure. So that's a very IT-ish category, like not seen for non-IT people, mostly. Your network solutions, your cloud computing strategy, your mobility strategy, like how you enable mobile phones, infrastructure stuff, really like IT stuff. The next category I want to emphasize is automation, which I would describe as everything that kind of you need to automate your processes that is not in your ERP type environment. You still need to do it. Like I saw in your research, distributing or preparing FP&A reports, a classic, right? Like most likely there will be elements that you need to do, like sending emails, putting comments, all this could be done through some sort of automation. And the last one is what sometimes we call it the emerging technology. So is the new things. Well, in terms of traditional AI, is not so new anymore, right? Like machine learning or predictive modeling or like Python libraries of predictive models. Well, they are around for 30 plus years. So that's maybe not so new, but it's still emerging in the sense that they add some kind of new value that is not yet baked into our foundational ERP platforms or data platforms. And, Internet of Things, blockchain, and now generative AI, which since 2012, with the launch of ChatGPT, gained popularity and a huge hype, right? A huge hype. So, happy to come back to this slide then in the discussion. I don't know, I hope you like the categorization. It's a bit to set the scene, and we will be talking about generative AI specifically. And I want to touch on the topic of this hype. So since 2012, there has been a huge hype around generative AI, unseen. Trillions of dollars of valuations behind some sort of value that should be supposedly there. Looking at that from today's perspective, well, the hype is still there, right? The valuation did not go down. So there is still this expectation, which, you might ask, okay, so where is the value? So, and I think now we understand way more than in 2012, right? I think in 2012, when ChatGPT could write you a haiku, but great, I did not get convinced, honestly. Like, yeah, I don't see how this really changes the world. But I will offer, again, my opinion. Larissa told me this is a friendly group. I can share an opinion that, might be wrong. I think the core value that we see today of generative AI is not necessarily the ability to generate something, but in order to generate something, you actually need to understand something. So why ChatGPT can produce a very compelling text? Well, because it kind of understands the subject. And here I'm incorrect, right? Technically speaking, I should say it doesn't understand because, yeah, well, that's what we say. But let's say we say it resembles understanding. I think if we cut through the crap, all those that are frequently in contact with the today's modern artificial intelligence, being it ChatGPT, OpenAI models, being it Claude, Gemini, whatever models, I think you will agree with me when I say, well, actually the model pretty well understands the context. Otherwise, the interaction is not possible. So I think that is the core value, the ability to understand. We already have computers that are so much better than humans in narrow capabilities. And now you have the same computers and they can understand. Well, nobody will convince me this is not a revolution. I think this is a complete revolution. And of course, it will take time to engineer it. And here, going more practical, I offer two applications of generative AI in the enterprise that we go after and we actually deploy in Takeda. And they are the top part of the slide, GenAI assistants, and the bottom part of the slide, back office agentic workflow. So that's the very two specific areas of value. Basically, the assistants, they are the ones that are in contact with people. So that's the ChatGPT type interaction, is they are in contact with employees. In our case, here we are talking about internal applications. So these are assistants that are in contact with employees, with Takeda employees. And the back office agentic workflows are the AI, are, let's say, again, we can say agents here that are not in contact with people. So they are doing stuff somewhere, they are hidden. In terms of the GenAI assistants, so basically the main area that we are solving for, we basically and that coincides our webinar coincides with a go live of our GenAI assistant that we have been working on for 1 year, or I think a little bit over a year. That is the ChatGPT that knows our company. So it is a ChatGPT that I will start from the bottom. It simplifies, automates, and centralizes routine processes. You want to book a vacation? This bot not only knows how to do it, but also can do it. So for a new employee, imagine, I don't know when is the last time you joined a new company, but when you join a company, how many new processes there is, right? And all these different portals that you should learn to navigate in order to do something for HR and to do something maybe for your vendors to process their invoices, or to do something administrative around your office, booking a meeting room, whatever. All this is managed today by various platforms with different levels of experience. But does it get better later when you are experienced? I think you would agree with me that even when you are experienced in your company, there is still a lot of admin and a lot of moments where you really waste your time by navigating complex systems that you should do a training for to actually be able to operate. It's totally not core for your work. It's totally not what you are hired for. But if you want to book your holiday, you must go there. So I mean, of course, if you have an assistant, great. But I think in today's reality, with less and less assistants around, more and more employees are actually exposed to this, what we call self-service platforms, right? Ticketing systems and whatnot. And then on the last perspective I wanted to present is, well, and how do we see it from our perspective as finance or as more, let's say, a back office function? Well, we actually face all the time the same inquiries, the same questions, the same needs. It actually also wastes our time, right? So yeah, Gen AI assistant, it can solve it all for you. Why? Because it understands what you want. That is this element of understanding. That's the value. And then by us engineering it, well, once we understand what you want, it is us to connect it to the right, to triage it and to connect it to the right place. So that's our engineering. A huge value. We have a huge list of use cases that we have in the pipeline, ranging from questions and answers to what report shall I access to get this and this information, all the way to, and can you do it for me? Okay, you told me how to book a holiday. Can you actually do it? Why you tell me? Can you book it? And the bot should say yes, and no problem, is booked. So that's one, I think, big application of AI agents. The second is the bottom part of the screen, which is the hidden agents. And here I will again start from this understanding capability. What can you do from understanding? Like, understanding is a very valuable capability. And here in the back office agents, we don't use it to actually understand what the person that requires something, that needs something, what it actually is that he or she needs. Here for the back office agents, we actually use the capability of understanding to decide. So because from understanding is pretty close to deciding. So basically, I will just offer a parallel to a back office process to a factory. And I think most of you that have been to some factory in your lives, to a modern factory, how a modern factory look like? You walk in today, there is nobody sitting at a production line, right? That no longer happens. People are walking around, monitoring process, progress, resolving some exceptions, some issues. That's what they are doing. They are not sitting at a production line. And I think in enterprises, in corporate, I think still our back office processes are not in that state, right? We still do a lot of like processing work. And what we are going after with the back office AI agents is we say, well, and this is the missing ingredient that we never had, that will allow us to reach this vision of completely end-to-end touchless production line. Because we have an ability to understand, we have an ability to use this capability to decide. And it's typically a non-consequential decision making, right? It is, however, a decision making you need to make to push the process forward. So I will mention a non-FP&A example, but that's a big case for us on invoice processing in finance. So we receive invoices and we need to code them somehow, and often, we miss some information, and we need to decide on how to code that invoice for a particular field, like what's the tax code, what VAT rate is this service, is the high VAT rate, the low VAT rate, in many countries based on different regulations. It's not a very consequential decision making, but you need to make the decision. And today, it's people making this decision. And tomorrow, it will be AI agents, because the AI agent will get instructions and the regulations and the work instructions will get the input data and will output a decision with this tax code. And then, we pick it up with RPA, or, we directly interface it into a platform, and the process can continue, right? So that's where I think it's a bit of a different flavor. We use, again, understanding as a core capability, an ability to understand instructions, an ability to understand the transaction that is coming, but the output is a decision. So it's a bit different flavor to Gen AI. Here it's a little bit like architected, and I'm coming to an end actually. here basically we are showing this case on this invoice coding, and we are showing in the yellow box like how it was typically done in the past with the traditional AI. So with the what we call data science. So I would use only structured data for that. And today I can add the bottom element, which is, well, but I didn't find the answer. So I pass it to a decision-making engine where basically I complete the task. So we believe this is the missing piece that we had, that we missed for a completely end-to-end touchless operation, and we have it now. So that's that. I will touch on the last point, and the last slide is directly on FP&A, where I think the more we have this technology around us, the more we need to learn about the technology and become a little bit IT, like not maybe in terms of engineering and how to like code it, but at least what it can do and be on top of it. And there is one big reason why I think the application of the new AI, the post 2022 AI, is lagging. And it is just a reality of the technology today, which is the large language models cannot work with numbers. And this is my prompt from 2 days ago, preparing for the presentation. Well, to this day, when I ask how many R's is in the word strawberry, I get a wrong answer, like half of the time. So we are talking about large language models not being able to count to 3, okay? We are talking about large language models being able to write a research paper on the level of a scientist, but not being able to count to 3. It's a reality, okay? Keep it in mind. It's true. So I think we need to observe, and when will the new AI be able to count? I think soon, but just cannot yet. Very, very important to keep in mind, not to fall to some trap of, explain me numbers. Well, it can't, okay? It can explain the text.